Hi champions, today we're diving into a topic that is uncomfortable, but it's a necessary discussion, especially if you're on a pathway to transformation. Today I want to talk to you about a topic called suicidal empathy. When your heart gets in the way of your head and your kindness starts to do you more harm than good. I am Dr. Joshua Kolawole. I'm the founder of Valdymas Intelligence LLC. I'm a global transformational leadership coach, a lean agile strategist, and an organizational growth architect. So either you're the leader of an organization or family or class or club or social system, I want you to know something clearly. Suicidal empathy is a hidden killer in leadership, in families, even in faith-based systems. I know this sounds strange, and the first thing that will come to your mind is that how can empathy, something so good, become suicidal? Well, here's the truth. Suicidal empathy happens when a leader, a parent, a teacher, a pastor, or a leader of an organization, or a movement or a religious sect allows excessive compassion to override clarity, to override accountability, and to override the truth. I love to say this: comfort without the truth would lead you into a trap. Look, when we try to avoid difficult conversation, not because we don't know what to do, but because we're afraid of hurting feelings or losing relationships, then we're destroying not only the other party we failed to have the conversation with, but also the organization. Let me state this clearly. Empathy without wisdom is not leadership. It is emotional sabotage. Empathy without wisdom is not leadership. It's emotional sabotage. In lean agile leadership concept, empathy must be paired with courage and candor. We respect people by empowering them, not by shielding them from the consequences of poor decisions. So when you have a staff that is already demonstrating reckless behavior at work, it is your responsibility to call them to accountability, to tell them the truth in love, to call them courageously and analyze the picture of what they're doing and how it will not only destroy them, but destroy the organization when you fail to speak up. And it will destroy your own work as well. So I would love to run through some real-world examples in business and in life. In business organization, for example, when a manager avoids confronting a toxic employee to keep peace, leading to other team burnout or loss of morale from other team, or when a leader loves sugarcoating performance review just to spare feelings, resulting in stagnation and unmet goals, the employee continues to walk blind into failure. So a leader that also fails to fire a poor performer because of the guilt would cause the whole team to pay the price, because the team will be as strong as the strength of their weakest link. So leaders who constantly rescue struggling team members without fostering independence will cripple growth. While empathy is essential, when unchecked, it becomes a dysfunction. True leader balances compassion with clarity, empowering people through honest feedback, setting clear expectation, have the courage to make the tough and value-aligned decision. Let me take you beyond the business. I want to talk about the family concept. When love overrides leadership, when a parent refuses to discipline their child because they don't want them to think they are too harsh, the child grows up entitled and unteachable. Or when a family member constantly bails out their other siblings who mismanages money or told a very bad part, no accountability, what will simply happen is they go into another cycle of that terrible mistake, and then it breeds resentment over time, and they keep still saying they don't look out for them. So what am I saying? It's suicidal empathy when you refuse to discipline people at the early onset, when you fail to speak the truth early on. In marriages where I know there are a lot of emotional flow here, and affection tends to silence the truth, and people tend to tolerate just constant emotional abuse, thinking silence is spiritual maturity, or when people fails to define clear boundaries of what to do to prevent burnout. When people are no longer working in unity, but instead they just want to not face what is the reality. Or maybe in religious settings, for example, like churches where compassion cancels the concept of accountability, and leaders who are caught in sin is being prayed for instead of being corrected. Or where you say grace would allow for spiritual decay, or where volunteers are overworked in the name of service, burning out the volunteer, those who come to volunteer just because they are doing God's work. That doesn't mean you should ignore human limits. People need to be compensated. Compassion is not evil. Evil is when you allow people to work too much and you do not compensate them because you think they are volunteering. So there has to be an excellent balance in all this. And that's why I call it suicidal empathy, because there's the empathetic part of it, which stands in the place of compassion, where you need to do a whole lot of things from the compassionate ground, but there has to be an excellent balance to this. In classrooms, when a teacher gives undeserved grades out of pity because you understand the students' real-life challenges, or a disrespectful behavior is being tolerated or excused by the teacher, other student one gets to suffer, the teacher themselves gets to suffer again, the system gets to suffer, and disrespect is reinforced in that student, and they go out into the community and continue to disrespect people. That is why it's the responsibility of a teacher and a parent to ensure that early on these things are avoided. I want to give you the counter example and then give you the balance. The first thing that makes the leader not want to speak up is they want to avoid conflict because they want comfort. But one problem you have forgotten is that as long as you allow dysfunction to thrive, because you don't want to rock the boat, you are eroding value, and that will ultimately destroy the whole organization. The second thing is that you keep toxic people around for longer, they continue to damage the culture of the organization. Everyone else will suffer. Sometimes some people say I want to keep them longer out of pity or out of loyalty. He's been loyal to me. He's been with me for decades. Or sometimes you keep rescuing team members instead of coaching them. Or sometimes you don't give them feedback. You're scared to give honest feedback. Or sometimes you dilute your vision to avoid offending people. So you weaken your mission to accommodate more people or to make it comfortable for everyone to stay. Instead of making clear-cut answers, you try to avoid answering questions with a clear stance based on principle. Instead, you want to seek and align with popular opinion. So this whole concept would train you to see one thing, that the basic antidote is empathy plus accountability. Leadership is not about being liked. I think that's the first thing we need to get right. I remember I told my kids a couple of times before that as a father, it is not my core responsibility to be a friend. I am supposed to represent some degree of discipline to you, to align you appropriately. If I come with the mindset of friendship to you, I might erode the quality of the discipline I'm supposed to demonstrate. Doesn't mean I don't want to be a friend. I do. However, my core responsibility must be clear. And so true leadership is not about being liked, it's about being trusted. True empathy doesn't coddle, it confronts evil, it confronts what is wrong with love. The goal is not about rescuing people, the goal is about raising them to be able to stand on their own. Not giving them fish, but to train them on how to know how to fish themselves. So the goal is, as a leader, you must have what's my core responsibility for this person, and be ready to stand clearly by it. Not try to erode value, erode mission, just to accommodate them. So I will leave you with these 5 guiding principles to avoid suicidal empathy. Practice clear compassion. Say the hard things early, kindly and clearly. Delay is a betrayal. Number 2, stop fixing people. Teach people how to grow. So empower people, don't enable evil in them. Number 3, separate person from performance. Love the person, challenge the wrong behavior. Separate the person from the performance. Love the person, address them in a dignifying way. Don't speak to them in a condescending manner, but address the behavior as a bad behavior. Create psychological safety, not emotional dependency. Let people speak up and receive the truth without fear. Then be guided by principles and purpose, not by popularity. Don't be a politician. You're not there to please people, you're there to lead. So 5 guiding principles: practice clear compassion, empower people, don't enable, separate person from performance, love the person, challenge the behavior, create psychological safety, not emotional dependency, and the 5th one, be guided by principles and purpose, not popularity. Remember, you're not there to please them, you need to be trusted, and you're there to lead. Empathy, you must remember, is a muscle. Without the bones of courage, it becomes jelly. So in business, in family, in ministry, in education, in life generally, suicidal empathy feels good on a short term, but it destroys the system, the people over a long period of time. So I will leave you with this piece. A transformational leader doesn't protect people from pain. They prepare people for purpose, and purpose is superior to pain. I am Dr. Joshua Kolawole. I know what I've discussed is a challenging and maybe hard to swallow, but please, I would like you to listen to this video over and over and understand exactly what I mean and how I mean it for the real thing I really want you to get. So, as an organizational leader, if you're finding it difficult to balance empathy with accountability in your organization, you can reach out to us at Valdymas Intelligence, because we don't just train leaders, we transform them. We have lean agile frameworks, mentorship structures, and value-driven learning system where we help individuals and organizations build character, competence, and purpose-driven performance. We believe in leadership that is accountable, that is agile, and that is anchored in the truth. We're here to work with you through clarity, challenges, and onto transformation. Why not visit us at valdymasintelligence.org to begin your journey with us? Thank you so much. Bye.